My name is Kiara Streeter and I'm from Washington, D.C. And currently I am working with CFSA to set up success centers in low socioeconomic neighborhoods. I grew up in Mayfair and Paradise in Northeast D.C.
Is that your motivation for what you do now?
It's a part of my motivation. Yes, it's a big part of my motivation. I had a lot of resources and people in my corner who kind of helped bridge the gap between my reality and what could be my reality.
And what resources and people were those kids?
I had coaches, I had mentors, I had teachers that seen things in me that I didn't see in myself. Summer employment programs, Marion Barry summer employment program, different free camps that I was able to attend, free lunches at school in the summertime, things like that.
Are there things like that still available for the kids now in the city?
Yes, absolutely. I love what I do. It's definitely one of my passions, and I love the fact that I'm a part of programming and creating resources. In the past, I was a crisis stabilization specialist, and I worked in a program that I felt was very useful but too short. But because I was a ground worker, I wasn't able to create change on a macro level. So this is an opportunity for me to be able to actually bring about positive change in a place where I'm from. And I know that it will be effective because I'm genuine, and I wouldn't do anything less than that. What do you mean by personal? All of the experiences are extremely personal.
Can you describe one that stuck with you the most?
It's so many of them. Wow, it's so many of them. I had a kid who, my very first kid, and she lived with her mom. She was pregnant, 16 years old, in high school, and she just had every odd against her as far as substance abuse, alcoholism in the family, low socioeconomic status, all of those different things. You know, she had different diagnoses, ADHD, ODD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, oppositional disorder, depression, conduct disorder, everything you can name. I think the school system and the mental health system labeled her. And I think it's because of where she was from and the population that she came from. However, we connected on a really personal level, and I still talk to her to this day, and she was able to obtain her own housing. You know, she went to school for nursing. She has 2 kids now that she takes care of, and she's doing really well for herself. So that was the very first experience, the very first child I had on my caseload, and it probably was the hardest.
So what would you describe her turning point? Was it just for somebody for her to connect with?
I think so. I think that youth need people outside of their parents to help navigate them through life, because one, we don't listen to our parents as kids because we don't think that they're right. Although they are, we don't think so. And then two, some parents have their own bags that they haven't unpacked. They have their own trauma that they're experiencing. They fall short sometimes, and that's okay because they're humans. But, you know, we need to go back to the it takes a village to raise a child thing. And the school needs to be able to come into the youth's life on a personal level. The coaches need to be able to come into the youth's life on a personal level. Churches are not involved in the family anymore. Recreation centers, all of those different things, I feel like is a part of the holistic health of the youth. And that's what we're missing. And most of the time, I don't want to say all of the time, but most of the time, the youth just need somebody to connect to. I think that skin color has to do with systems. and systems of oppression. For example, like I said before, white people may have issues. White people do have issues, but their issues is not the color of their skin. In a situation with a youth who is of African descent, regardless of their socioeconomic status, the school system is set up so that people of color are oppressed. As far as the books, the information that is given, the tests, the 8 hours of sitting in a seat all day, the corporal punishment, things like that. The police system is set up to continuously keep people of color down. The judiciary system, all of those systems, it's a macro level. So although you may not be able to say, oh, well, because I'm black, I'm getting a poor education, I don't have all of the things that I should have as far as equity. The issue is that even if the kid was getting the best education, because the school system is set up in an oppressive form, the information in the books aren't feeding the child of color the things that they need to prosper and to empower them so that they can know that they came from greatness and that they are great. It's vice versa. It's feeding into the Western civilization of people, Caucasian people being the creators of civilization, and that's not true. So when you tell a child of color that the inventors and the mathematicians and the astronomers and the artists and the singers and the dancers were white, it's hard to find the strength in yourself when you know that you're black. When the reality is it's the opposite way around. So if that information is not put into our school system, then it's continuously oppressing our people so that we have to continuously try to get a foot up while we're being torn down at the same time.
So how do you keep the hope? What are things that we can do in our community?
I think things that we can do as black people is go back. So the school system and the books may not tell our children, they may not teach our children that the Moors created science or that black people created ballet and classic music. However, the fact that I was able to advance and be successful is showing children that look like me that it's possible. So you have to go back to your community and you have to give back. And you have to be that same liaison that someone was for you. I think an issue that black people have because we were oppressed for so many years is that once we get successful, we leave. And you shouldn't have to. We are the only people that leave our place to go and find something better. Where you have white people who are coming into our projects and into our ghettos and they're gentrifying it and they're making it beautiful. We're leaving our ghettos. We're leaving our projects because we don't want to live in bad neighborhoods and we're afraid of the drug dealers and the gangbangers and the prostitutes. But white people are walking around with their dogs. But that leaves the child that is in that society, that's in that community, faceless. So now they still don't understand what it looks like. They don't know what success looks like because you, who came from that community, has left.
So what do you say to someone who like Nipsey Hussle, who stayed and ended up dying there?
I think that is a horrific situation, and I feel like we can't base our progression on downfalls like that. Because Nipsey Hussle is going down in history as a trailblazer, as an icon, as a hero. Tupac, an icon, a hero. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. We can't be afraid to die because this fight is ongoing. So unfortunately, that happened to Nipsey Hussle, but I wouldn't say that we should stop going back into our communities and being idols and superheroes and being people that our kids can look up to, because we have to be that. We have to be the change that we want to see. You can't continuously talk about how bad neighborhoods are or how bad politics are or the government sucks and you get your money, you get your wealth and you leave.
So who was your idol? If you could name one person, who did you look up to that inspired you the most?
My mama, Kia, yes, she did. That lady is something, but she is a powerhouse, and I've always looked up to her. I always admire her strength, and I looked at her for things that I wanted to be, and I also looked at her for things that I didn't want to be. And that's important because I seen examples that I never wanted to do and I never wanted to be, but I also seen examples of strength and power that I wanted to also embody. I've had kids of, like I said, I had kids of all different types of personalities and situations. I've had leaders, I had followers. I had kids who hung out with lots of people to kids who didn't trust anybody, and they didn't have any friends. They didn't call anybody their friends or associates because they were so traumatized that they couldn't connect to other people their age, older or younger. So, yeah, it varies. You know, some of them got a bunch of people around them, you know, that's a negative influence on their life. Some of them are the negative influence on a bunch of people's lives. I could connect better to the one who's a bad influence because at least that one's the leader. Because if you set a house on fire, are you the person who lit the match, or are you the person that convinced the person to light the match? That's important, because then I can help you change the way that you think. But if you're a follower, it's harder in our neighborhoods and in our population to find somebody positive in your age group to follow. Everything. I do hair. I am a health connoisseur. I have been on every diet in the book. I can read it backwards and forward. I do nutrition classes. I teach pole dancing. I teach chair dancing. I teach hip hop aerobics. I am a mom. Yeah.
Okay, what inspires you? Because a lot of things you named were about wellness, pretty much, and self-care. Do you think that's important? What inspires you to care about that?
I think wellness is important because you have to persevere. And in order to persevere, you have to take care of yourself. You have to take time, because stress kills you, literally kills you. It physically affects your moods, your back, your head. You get aches and pain, and you don't know what's going on, but because you're so stressed out, you are being a detriment to your health. So taking care of yourself includes going to the doctor. It includes eating healthy, drinking water, getting up, moving your body, skin care, nail care, hair care, breathing. Breathing is the most important thing that human beings do. However, we don't take moments to ourselves to just listen and focus on our breathing. So yes, health is very important, and especially for Black people, because again, in wellness, we are oppressed. You know, we were never taught how to eat. We were never taught how to work out or running and jogging and walking and exercising. That was never something that you would put first, not in my upbringing. You know, that was like low on the totem pole. So for us, it's important to persevere, and it's important for our genes that we watch what we eat, and we work out, and we breathe, and we take care of our skin, and we take care of our minds. And we seek help for different mental illnesses if that's what's going on, or different lifestyle changes and things like that.
What are some type of things that you teach how many children do you have?
Currently, I don't have any children because I am creating this success center that we are going to put into these neighborhoods. So hopefully a magnitude of people can access these resources. However, I've had approximately 250 kids.
Wow.
Because my caseloads were 15 to 18, and I only kept them for 6 months. So in 6 months, I would get another 15 to 18 kids.
Do you feel like you have made a difference in some type of way in all of their lives?
I wouldn't say all of them. You know, some of them called me all types of bitches, but I would say out of that 250, I have made a imprint on at least 20 of them.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say to your own child at home to make sure that she's on the right track?
I think that's the hardest battle, because my child plays with me. Nobody tests your gangster like your child. And it's difficult because she's so smart, and she knows and she understands what I do for a living. And she knows that I spend so many hours with other children and connecting them to resources and connecting with them on a personal level and taking them out. So she sees that and she hears that. And I feel like because she is so smart, she knows how to get her needs met, and she plays on it. And because I'm a parent, you know, I tell my parents, well, the kids that I work with, I tell their parents all the time, you know, you can't take it personal what the youth says to you or what the youth does to you, because it's not about you, it's about them, it's about them. Children are very egocentric. They're trying to get their needs met. So whatever they have to do and say to do that, that's what they're gonna have to do, and you shouldn't take that personal. But everything my child says to me, I take very, very personal. So it is a learning experience. Unfortunately, there is not a book on parenting. I try to do the best I could do with keeping communication open, letting her know that it's a safe space for her to express herself, not cutting her off when she's advocating for herself, which is very hard because in our culture, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. But I don't agree with that. I think that she should be seen and she should be heard and she should be able to speak up for herself and advocate for herself, because when I'm not there to protect her, I need her to be able to protect herself. But that backfires on me because I can tell her something and she's like, but you said everyone has choices. And I don't agree with you. And just because that's what you said doesn't mean that that's the right thing. So oftentimes I explain myself to her, but I still catch myself every now and then slipping back into the, because I said so, right? It's like, well, why? Well, because if you do this, then you do that. Well, no, because if I do that, I won't do this. And it comes into this debate and this power struggle. And ideally, I would like to grow to a point where I have enough patience to sit and go back and forth with her, because it's good for children. But I'm not there yet. And God's still working on me because I'm not going back and forth with the child. And it's different because in my professional life, if a child was to do that, I would be able to navigate them in the right direction, because what they're saying is not personal to me. And that's hard because I have to also teach parents how to navigate their child in a healthy way, because children are not bad. They are in their primitive state. So they are, everything that they do and everything that they say, although as adults, you know, we grow far from our childhood, and we forget sometimes where we were in that moment. But they're trying to get a need met. When a baby cries, it's because they want something. They want attention. They want food. They want to be changed. You know, they want you to laugh at them. So as you grow older, children in the adolescent age are also still trying to get their needs met. So it's up to us as parents to, one, figure out what the need is, and then give them a better way of asking for what they want. Whoa.
Just got personal.
Wow. I am in a situationship.
Okay.
It's complicated.
Okay.
So I would say that I am in a situationship with one person. However, we're not in a committed relationship. But if I was to say I was single, he would probably be upset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find it hard to date and have a serious relationship with all that you do?
I do. It's very hard it's hard to date. It's hard to maintain a long-term committed relationship. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Would you like to be married in the future?
Yeah, I want to be married. That's a goal. That's a personal goal of mine. To be married to, and not necessarily the marriage part, but I want a strong partnership with a significant other. I don't want the shallow, commercialized marriage just to say I'm married. Like, I want a strong bond and a strong, genuine partnership with somebody I can grow old with, like a best friend, somebody I can build with, someone that can fuel me and I can fuel him in the same aspect, and we can travel the world and do different things together.
Do you think that is realistic for our community?
I feel different ways about it. I have a little mixed views. It's definitely realistic and it's possible. It just depends on what you want. So some men want poly relationships in our community, you know, and but they don't want poly relationships where the female is poly as well. So it's complicated. So I think it's possible. It just depends on, you know, your prerogative. Be the change that you would like to see. Yes, it is soaked _in_ melanin_. Yes.
That's on Instagram.
And that's on Instagram. And her holistic wellness is coming soon.